Hello everybody. This is Rahul from Edushastra Free University. Here we are to discuss the solutions of Flash Test Set 3 Quant 1. Before heading, I would like you to introduce with the quantitative section of GMAT. The quantitative section of GMAT consists of two types of questions. The first one is problem solving and the second one is data sufficiency. Problem solving questions. These are standardized multiple choice questions. You are given with a question statement and 5 option choices, out of which only one is correct. The second one is data sufficiency. These question types are unique to GMAT. The prompt gives you a question statement without giving you enough information to answer the question. Then you are given with two statements, statement 1 and statement 2. These carry some information regarding the question statement. You need to tell whether, by the information provided in statement 1 and statement 2, you can answer the question or not. So we have 5 option choices. Option choice A says statement 1 alone is sufficient to answer the question, but statement 2 alone is not sufficient to answer the question. Option choice B said statement 2 alone is sufficient to answer the question, but statement 1 alone is not sufficient to answer the question. Option choice C says both statements together are sufficient, but neither statement alone is sufficient to answer the question. Option choice D says each statement alone is sufficient to answer the question. Option choice E says statement 1 and 2 together are not sufficient to answer the question. So moving to the question 1 of our flash test. It says is x greater than 0? Two statements are 2x minus 12 modulus is less than 10 and x square minus 10x is greater than or equal to minus 21. These are the 5 option choices. This is a DS question or data sufficiency question. Have a first look to the question. I just need to see whether x is positive or not, or does x belongs to right side of 0 on the number line. Let us think about the question. Here, this is my number line. Here I have 0. I need to see whether x lies in this blue region or this red region or to the right side of 0. Look at the first statement now. It says modulus of 2x minus 12 is less than 10. So, if x is greater than 6, then this quantity, that is 2x minus 12, is greater than 0. So, modulus will open with positive sign. So, the inequality would be 2x minus 12 is less than 10, or 2x is less than 22, or x is less than 11. So, I have 11 somewhere here, and it also says that x is greater than 6. So x is 6 here. So I know that x lies between these region, that is the total blue area. Now if x would have been less than 6, then this quantity would have become negative. That means the modulus will open with negative sign, or 12 minus 2x is less than 10. 2x is greater than 2, or x is greater than 1. So I have 1 here, and see x is less than 6. So 6 here. So x belongs to this region. That is also again total blue area. But we also need to check what happens when x is equal to 6. When x is equal to 6, this quantity becomes 2 multiplied by 6, 12 minus 12, that is 0. And it is obviously less than 10. So again, I have 6 in my domain. Therefore, x belongs to 1 to 11 from statement 1. So this says that x is clearly greater than 0. That is, x belongs to 1 to 11 open brackets. So all the values between 1 and 11 are positive, therefore statement 1 alone is sufficient to answer the question. Now have a look at statement 2. It says x square minus 10x is greater than or equal to minus 21. Let us solve this inequality. Take minus 21 to left hand side. I have x square minus 10x plus 21 greater than or equal to 0. Factorize it. I get x minus 7 multiply by x minus 3 greater than or equal to 0. These gives the value of x belongs to minus infinity to 3 union 7 to infinity. So clearly here is somewhere 3, here I have 7. So this statement tells that x belongs to right hand side of 7 or left hand side of 3. So I have both the values. For example, x can also take a value somewhere here, that is minus 5, or a value somewhere here, that is 10. So x can be less than 0 and even greater than 0. Therefore, statement 2 doesn't help me to solve the question or answer whether x is greater than 0 or not. So the answer to the question is option choice A. Statement 1 alone is sufficient to answer the question, but statement 2 alone is not sufficient to answer the question. Let us move forward to our second question. It says, what is the area of isosceles trapezium? The two statements are altitude is equal to 7 centimeter or height is equal to 7 centimeter, and second statement is diagonal is equal to 25 centimeter. So a DS question again. So here I have an isosceles trapezium. Now what is an isosceles trapezium? In isosceles trapezium, the non-parallel sides, in our case AC is equal to BD. So if I drop two perpendiculars, then angle AEC would be equal to angle BFD is equal to 90 degree. If I call this angle 1, this angle 2, then angle 1 is equal to angle 2 is equal to 90 degrees. And clearly AE is equal to BF because both are the altitudes of same triangle. Therefore, in these two triangles, BFD and AEC both are congruent by RHS. So I have this angle equal to this angle and CE is equal to DF. So next time when you see a question that involves isosceles trapezium, directly assume AC is equal to BD, FD is equal to CE. I'm going to use this result later on, and angle ACE is equal to angle BDF because these two triangles becomes congruent. Now look at the first statement. It gives me that height is equal to 7, but it does not tell me anything about the parallel sides or the length of parallel sides, that what is the value of AB and what is the value of CD. Now area of trapezium is equal to half multiply by A plus B into H, where A and B are parallel sides. So in our case, A is equal to AB and B is equal to CD. I only know that H is equal to 7. I know nothing about either A or B, so I cannot tell what is the area of the trapezium. Let us see from the figure. See, I have two trapeziums in which height is equal to 7. But clearly the area is a variable because AB can be of any length and CD can be of any length. So I cannot tell whether in the formula what is the value of A plus B. Therefore, statement 1 alone is not sufficient to answer the question. Have a look at statement number 2. It says diagonal is equal to 25. Again, I only know that a square plus d square is equal to 25 square or 625 by Pythagoras theorem. But I do not know the exact value of AE or DE. So again, I cannot tell whether the area of isosceles trapezium can be found out or not using diagonal is equal to 25 centimeter. Let us see through the figure. See, I have two diagonals here AD and here AD. Both are equal to 25, but the area of both the trapeziums are variable. Therefore, statement 2 alone is not sufficient to answer the question. Now, let us combine the statements. I have diagonal length is equal to 25 and altitude is equal to 7. Clearly, I can find out what is the value of dE. Here, dE by Pythagoras theorem is equal to root of AD square, that is 25 square, minus 7 square, that is AE square. So this gives me 625 minus 49 or root of 576 or equals to 24. So I have the value of D is equal to 24. Now see, I have this D is equal to 24. We discussed in the beginning that CE is equal to DF. I call both of them X. So what is the value of CD now? That is one of my parallel sides. CD is clearly equal to 24 plus X because 24 is DE and CE is X. CD is CE plus ED. Correct. Now what is the value of AB? Value of AB can be written as DE minus DF. Again, D is equal to 24 and DF is equal to CE is equal to X. So I have my parallel sides. One is 24 minus X and one is 24 plus X. So clearly the sum of parallel sides is 24 plus X plus 24 minus X. Now this X cancels out and I have the sum of parallel sides equal to 48. I have the height is equal to 7 centimeter. I have the sum of parallel sides. So clearly I can find the area, that is half into sum of parallel sides, that is 48, multiply by 7. Therefore statement 1 and 2 together are sufficient to answer the question. So answer to the question is both statements together are sufficient, but neither alone statement is sufficient to answer the question. Let us move forward and have a look at question number 3. It says m is negative and n is an integer. Is m to the power n positive? The statements are m is odd and n is odd. Again a DS question. Let us brief the question statement. Here m is negative. So clearly I just need to see whether n is odd or not, because when I have a negative number raised to an even number, it gives me a positive value, and similarly a negative number raised to odd power gives me negative value. So I just need to check whether the power here n is even or odd. The first statement, it says m is odd, but see, m lies in base. This does not help to tell what is n. It is odd or even. It can be either. Therefore, I cannot be sure whether m to the power n is positive or negative. Therefore, statement 1 alone is not sufficient to answer the question. Now have a look at statement number 2. It says n is odd. Therefore, m to the power n is equal to negative to the power odd, which is clearly negative. Therefore, I can be sure that m to the power n is negative. Hence, statement 2 alone is sufficient to answer the question. Answer to the above question would be option choice B. Statement 2 alone is sufficient, but statement 1 alone is not sufficient to answer the question. Let us move towards the second last question of this flash test. It says if x is an positive odd number and y is an positive even number, which of the following number is not divisible by 2? That means which of the following number is an odd number? The question asks me this. So these are the 5 option choices. This is the problem solving question. Now this is the trick question. See, put the values directly. X is odd, take it 1. And I know y is even, take it 0. Now see, as soon as I take the value of y to be 0, this becomes 0, this becomes 0, and this becomes 0. So x is 1, so value of this becomes 3. Again, here this is 0, this is 0, and this is 0. Therefore, 2x minus 2 becomes 0. Similarly, you can check for the other cases. In my case, I got option choice A directly correct, but you can check for the other cases too to be sure that there is only one case and the right answer to the question would be A. But there must be a doubt that in the question it says x is a positive odd number and y is a positive even number. So why I took y is equal to 0. Here it says y is a positive even number. Still I take y is equal to 0 because I know that 0 is a even number. And when the question asks me that which of the following is a even number or odd number, taking this value 0 or 2 doesn't affect the answer choices. So we can directly put the values, that is x equal to 1 and y is equal to 0, and quickly solve the question rather than checking that even multiplied by odd is even and then checking odd plus odd is equal to even and performing the complex tasks again and again. Directly use x is equal to 1, y is equal to 0 and get the answer. So let us move to the final question. What is the remainder when 11 to the power 13 plus 12 to the power 13 plus 13 to the power 13 plus 14 to the power 13 plus 15 to the power 13 is divided by 4? So again a problem solving question. The option choices are cannot be found, B0, C2, D1 and E3. Let us see the numbers by part and check what remainder they leave when divided by 4. So 11 to the power 13. 11 to the power 13 leaves the remainder 3 to the power 13. Why? Because 11 is equal to 4 into 2 plus 3. So 11 leaves the remainder 3. So 11 to the power 13 leaves the remainder 3 to the power 13. Now I can say that remainder 3 is equal to remainder minus 1 when we are dividing by 4. Why? Because 3 is written as 4 into 0 plus 3. So this is the remainder. I can also write this in the form of 4 into 1, that is 4 minus 1. So I'll take this as remainder. so that I can directly get minus 1 to the power 13, which will yield the value minus 1. Similarly, for 12 to the power 13, the remainder would be 0. 13 to the power 13, it would be 1. 14 to the power 13, it would be 0. And 15 to the power 13 would be minus 1 to the power 13 again, and that would be minus 1, as we did for 11 to the power 13. Now, remember, when the number, this huge number, is divisible by 4, is equal to the remainder left by sum of these when divided by 4. So, what is the sum of these? Minus 1 and 1 cancels out, and I am left with minus 1. Or I can say the above number is in the form of 4k minus 1, since the remainder cannot be negative. So, I can write the above number as 4 into k minus 1 plus 4 into 1 minus 1. See, I broke this. I wrote this in this form. I took 1 out from this value of k and wrote it separately, plus 4 into 1, and this minus 1 was left. So 4k minus 1 plus 4 minus 1, or 4k minus 1 plus 3, or 4c plus 3, where c is equal to k minus 1. So the remainder is plus 3. So the right answer to the question is option choice E, that is 3. So that was all for this flash test. Thank you.